Hey, it's attorney Stephen A. Smith here, the pastor lawyer, with another commonly asked question.
How do I know if I have a valid personal injury case in Florida? Well, the best way for you to find out whether you have a valid personal injury claim in Florida is to contact a Florida personal injury lawyer, because they're going to be able to walk you through the steps and the law, certainly taking your facts into consideration, and let you know how it would likely work out if there was a suit to be filed and if it came to a jury to give a verdict on the matter. In this case, just to give you a brief overview, for torts, tort is a legal wrong against someone that causes harm. And so Florida tort law is dealing with personal injury law. In order to have a valid claim for personal injury in Florida, you need to have 4 elements met. First is duty. Someone has to owe you a duty or owe a duty to operate in a certain fashion. Then there has to be a breach of that duty. So duty breach, there's a breach of that duty by them failing to maintain that standard of care or that duty that they had to operate with a certain standard of care. Then beyond that, there is what's called causation. So the duty was breached, and now it causes, the next element is damages. So the causation of the damages becomes the next thing that we look at. Causation means that it's the cause and fact, or but for their action, their negligent action, you would not be injured or have the damages that you do. And certainly that final element is very necessary to have damages, because you can have all 3 of the first elements, duty, breach, causation, but no damages. I've often told this story that I had someone who was in a horrible 18-wheeler crash, and their car was totaled, and the 18-wheeler certainly was at fault for shifting to their lane and causing a jackknife and that kind of thing. Well, here's the thing. They walked away with no injuries at all. So I like to say that their angels were working on overtime, because they walked away without a scratch. And they come into the office and say, look, I wasn't injured, but they tore up my car. Well, yes, you have a great property damage liability claim, and certainly their vehicle was repaired. But they wanted to sue for personal injury where they had none. So here again, we have duty. The driver of the 18-wheeler has a duty to stay in their lane and maintain their lane. Breach of that duty, the 18-wheeler veered off into the next lane, causing a jackknife and causing the crash. That caused, of course, what damages? No damages. It was the cause of the crash, but there were no damages that led out of it. And so because of that, they wouldn't have a great personal injury claim. And that's just an example I give you, because many times there are people who have crashes, they have minor damage, and then they actually have damages, right? But there's other situations where it doesn't work out that way, and they are not actually injured. In that case, you just thank God that you don't have any injuries, because let me tell you, to have a permanent injury means that you live with it for the rest of your life, and that's nothing no one wants to do.